From entirely changing the source material for the movie, to finally getting a release date after all these years. Here's everything you need to know about The Flash. Let's jump straight into the plot details, shall we? Now, as you already know, the film is loosely based on the Flashpoint paradox. Keyword here being loosely, folks. Now, judging from the trailer, there are a lot of changes that have been made. For some reason, the studios thought this was the best story to adapt for the character's first ever solo film. I mean, if you've seen the show or the animated movie, then it's a pretty solid storyline. But is it the right choice for a movie? Because, for starters, there are 2 Barry Allens instead of just one. The younger one doesn't have any powers, because the older one went back in time and changed the timeline. What's new in this universe? No metahumans. The Flashpoint paradox also involves Thomas Wayne as the Batman who loses his son. But in the movie, it's just an older Bruce played by Michael Keaton. And since they're bringing back the Tim Burton version of the character from 1989, the Joker is dead. The live-action version has a bunch of characters missing from the comic, but it also adds some other ones, which brings me to the actual plot of the Flash movie. You see, both Flashes join forces with Supergirl and Batman. Now, the question is, which Caped Crusader am I talking about? The dark and broody one from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, played by Ben Affleck, or Keaton's fan-favorite version from the Tim Burton films? Unfortunately, we can't get both of them like we have 2 Barrys. Affleck confirmed in a recent interview that his screen time is just around 5 minutes. In movies, that can feel like a long time. But it still leaves a sour taste in a lot of our mouths. Because I'm pretty sure no one is ready to say goodbye to this iteration of the character. So, older Barry goes back in time to stop his mom, Nora Allen, from dying. This causes a turn of events that leads to no metahumans existing in the universe. We see Batman's cowl covered in blood, along with Kal-El's Superman suit on the floor. Oh, Barry, you sure did mess up big time. The trailer has all sorts of crazy things going on all at once. Supergirl is introduced. General Zod and the Kryptonians are back and raining terror like they did in Man of Steel. No, seriously, the World Engine shot looks exactly like the one from 2013. And the best part of this is, no one has the slightest clue about the bigger picture. But what do the official plot details have to say about the movie? It says Barry travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which traps him in an alternate reality. This raises a very big question. If Nora was murdered, who pulled the trigger? As many of you know, the person who ruined the Flash's life ever since he was a child was Eobard Thawne, also known as the Reverse Flash. The yellow speedster is nowhere to be found in the trailer, but some fan theories hint at something pretty cool. So to those who watched the trailer, ever notice how younger Barry was wearing all yellow? Yeah, I sense a huge plot twist in this movie. Though the theory could be a huge reach. How exciting would that be? Picture it this way. Older Barry is trying to revert the timeline with his mother dying, but his younger self isn't letting that happen. Once it does, he goes down a very dark path and stitches up a yellow suit. So cool! Realistically speaking, Reverse Flash probably won't make an appearance, but a recent leak hinted at who the actual evil speedster in the film could be. Dark Flash's action figure is a huge nod to the big bad that Barry will have to face. Yes, something as little as merchandise can spoil an anticipated movie. So the toys included the 2 Batmen and Flashes along with Supergirl. Dark Flash had a rather creepy-looking doll with a suit that looks nothing like it does in the comics. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. The spiky design hints at the fact that Kryptonian armor was used, which is probably where Zod gets involved. Now, I'm not saying the man under the mask is the general controlling the World Engine. Because of the bit of brown hair shown, it looks like another Barry clone will be the speedster Death Eater. Oh yeah, that's basically what this Flash's powers and role are. He's the Grim Reaper of the Speed Force, and steals the souls of dead speedsters. The multiverse can be pretty confusing, and having 2 versions of the same character doesn't really help. Okay, I've spoiled enough of the movie as it is. Let's just see who's playing who. Miller, along with a bunch of other actors, reprise their roles for the upcoming film. As I mentioned earlier, Affleck and Keaton will return as their respective Caped Crusaders. And Kara Zor-El will be portrayed by breakout star Sasha Calle. Michael Shannon and Antje Traua are returning as the Kryptonian Zod and Faora. From the looks of it, many people don't think that these two are Barry's biggest threats in the film. They're more in the line for Sasha to show off her skills as Supergirl. After watching that Super Bowl trailer, fans instantly fell in love with the actress. She's definitely got this role in the bag. The ensemble also includes Kiersey Clemons as Iris West, whom we got a glimpse of back in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Temuera Morrison, who plays Arthur Curry's father in Aquaman, is also credited in the film. I wonder, though, what his role in the film is. Ron Livingston replaces Billy Crudup as Henry Allen, Barry's dad, while Maribel Verdú will give the fans a first look at the DCEU version of Nora Allen. Vine and TikTok star Rudy Mancuso also has a secret role in the film, along with Saoirse Monica Jackson from Dairy Girls and Luke Brandon Field from Jojo Rabbit. All these names can be a little overwhelming, I know, but I'm pretty sure this big group of talent will make everything worth it. The director, on the other hand, sure has the nerve to cast a Viner in a movie as big as this. So, what do the fans think? Oh, they're not happy at all. Remember what happened to Zack Snyder and how his vision was treated by the studios? Yeah, his fans didn't forget any of that, and still hold a grudge. Many people have criticized the lightheartedness of the trailer, and don't get me started with the CGI. Yeah, the visual effects department could have done a little better than that, especially given the fact that the movie's been delayed for as long as anyone can remember. It was supposed to come out in 2019, right? Or was it 2018? The Flash also juggled directors left and right like the Green Goblin juggles his pumpkin bombs. Wait, wrong franchise! There's another group of people against this movie because of Miller's controversy, which might not be a problem given the fact that the film is rebooting the universe. Yep, as per James Gunn's orders and how the Flashpoint Paradox served the same purpose, The Flash is going to kickstart Chapter 1 of the Co-President's 8-year plan, titled Gods and Monsters. All this sounds exciting, but at the same time, it's also a bit scary. Just look at how the other DC movies are doing at the box office. Poor Shazam! This film needs to do well, otherwise the franchise is done for. And not a single person in the world can lift it off the ground. Not even James Gunn. The fate of the DCEU lies in The Flash's hands, which will be released on June 16, 2023. It's so close, yet so far away! Long-term DC fans can't even begin to explain the delays this project has been through. Just look at the original slate the studios had planned. It's been 5 years since we expected this movie. It honestly feels so weird to say that The Flash is racing to theaters in a month or two. So, from finally getting a release date after all these years, to entirely changing the source material, that was everything you needed to know about The Flash.